We are live for Empire State of Baseball, episode number 131 on this Tuesday, July the 1st, 2025, airing on Instagram, X, and YouTube, and as always, powered by StreamYard. And we are at a threefold for now, but we replaced Tom with the returning Khoury Favs. And Khoury, you look so tropical here on this Tuesday evening. How you doing, sir? How was the honeymoon?
Dude, honeymoon was a blast. Really great time. Every day was in the 80s and sunny. It misted twice, and it misted in moments that didn't matter. One was during a drive, and the other one was on our way to Pearl Harbor. And again, it ended pretty much as soon as we got out of the car. So that was awesome. Really great trip. Really awesome time. I would 100% go back. We definitely want to go back. I got to tell you what, though. I can't believe what I'm coming back to. I know I put that meme on Twitter a few days ago about the guy bringing in the pizzas and the room's on fire. That's really what it feels like. Because I honestly can't believe it. Everything was great. Mets were sky high. Yankees too. And it seems like whenever Pete Alonso did that toss to Senga and Senga hurt his hammy, everything's gone downhill since then. That was my wedding weekend. So I really, thankfully, knock on wood, let me tell you what. Thankfully, I haven't had time to watch a single game. I maybe watched 5 innings worth of baseball in the last 2 weeks. And it's just because I had a little downtime, pulled out my phone, opened the app, maybe 5 innings. Oh, man, let me tell you. Thank God I could not have watched baseball. But other than baseball, everything was great. It was such a great 2-week stretch. But glad to be back now. Glad to get back into a more normal rhythm.
And welcome back here. Hopefully you and Caitlin had a fantastic honeymoon, and congratulations once again to you both. But yeah, it's unfortunately neither the Mets nor the Yankees weren't as hot as Mount Loa out there in Hawaii. But my goodness, it hasn't been bad baseball here, Joseph. And I know we're going to get more into it in the Empire Express, but how worse can it get? I mean, your team just got swept by the Pittsburgh Pirates, who have essentially been out of it since opening day. The Yankees have dropped 2 straight to Toronto Blue Jays. George Springer tapping into 2017 Houston Astro George Springer in today's game, but we'll have more on that later on today. But Joe, it's been rough around here.
We had the conversation yesterday with Keith and Shane from Shane Sons on our ESB space last night, and we kind of came to the conclusion that the Mets needed the series against the Yankees more than the Yankees did.
Yep.
We might get to a scenario where that's not really true. I mean, the Yankees now have a 1-game lead in their division with 2 teams trailing them at the same distance. If the Yankees lose another game or 2 before we get to the weekend series, the Yankees are going to be desperate for the series just as much as the Mets are.
Correct.
So right now, both teams are not playing baseball. They basically paralleled themselves all season. The Mets have almost a warm body problem with their pitching staff not being healthy at the moment. The offense isn't clicking, obviously. So the Yankees have kind of the bullpen's hit a rough patch. The offense has hit a rough patch. Now the Judge is not hitting. So all of a sudden, these 2 teams have just gone from, looking like they're at the top of their leagues, respectively, to now holding on and trying to get through this little swoon and basically make it to the All-Star break in a position that they're not in trouble coming out of the All-Star break.
Yeah, absolutely. Tom Wospil joining us now, actually. A little bit of the delay. Love the 4th of July hat there, Thomas. You rocking that out, of course, for the 4th of July weekend coming up here. Tom, I don't know if Tom's having issues here with his.
I'm having issues. The issues that you can't help with, but we're having.
No, you're right. Well, yeah, but you're here, thank God. And actually, for perfect timing, because we were just about to talk about Roback. So, Thomas, I'm going to throw you right to the wolves. Let's touch on Roback.
Let's touch on Roback as we're heading into this 4th of July weekend. There's no better way to show off the stars and stripes than some brand new Roback. It looks like Joe is rocking some stars right there, a part of the Americana collection. I got a little bit of a baseball one going on here, but Roback has so much in the red, white, and blue for you, whether if you want something a little flashier or something more solids. They have options. Not just not just the polos. You have some new bathing suits as well in the red, white, and blue, and not shorts, pants, polos, women's stuff, kids stuff, all kinds of stuff. Head over to roback.com, use promo code TWASL15, and get yourself 15% off your first order.
Absolutely.
And look good.
And look damn good doing it, right? TWASL15. That is Roback. And as always, Roback brings us our rundown for today's episode of Empire State of Baseball. This is number 131 that we got here tonight. And we have the Empire Express to kick things off, the latest and not so greatest with the New York Mets and New York Yankees. Then we have another edition of Book It. We'll take a look at Took's upcoming pick for this series. I wonder what series he's going to pick this week. That's tough guess at that one, boys. Then we have the New York Strike Exchange with our trading floor. Money was made over the last 2 weeks, that money being ESB Bucks. We'll see who were some of their big winners over the last couple of weeks. And then we're going to finish things off with another return. Tonight was the return of the Khoury, essentially. Khoury Favs in the left-hand corner of your screen. And later on tonight, we'll also return Andrew Khoury, our guy Khore, for Khore Kurriculum, our favorite ESB game here at Empire State of Baseball. Looking forward to talking to Khore and seeing what he's got up his sleeve for a very close ESB games run this year, guys. Thus far, Joe's like up in the lead by like 3 points, and me, Khoury, and Tom are tied. But we'll take a look at those standings later on today when we get into the Khore Kurriculum. But all right, let me get right into it. Let's talk about the New York Metropolitans. Joe, you mentioned the space yesterday that we had with Keith. It was a great space, the Subway space. If you guys want to check it out on X, did an hour and a half previewing the Subway series a few days in advance. But we touched on the Mets for a good majority of the time and trying to pick apart their issues. But Joe, how are you assessing this team? What is sticking out to you, and why can't this team get over the hump that they're currently in?
Yeah, it honestly, it just seems like all the problems are coming to roost at one time. Lindor's been in a slump ever since he fractured his toe. He's toughed it out. You gotta give him credit. He's been a warrior going out there on a fractured toe, but clearly it's affecting his game. To what degree, I don't know, but he's batting $150 over the past few weeks. That's not good. The pitching all of a sudden has had the injuries have caught up to them. Griffin Cannon goes down with an Achilles tear. Kodai Singh is on the IL. Tyler McGill is on the IL. And now all of a sudden you have Blackburn and Montas. Blackburn, who is basically a swing man, or should be a swing man, is asked to be a key member of this rotation now. And Montas, who I don't have much faith in to begin with, basically comes in with a limited ramp-up period. Looked good in his first outing and looked awful in the second outing. And basically the Mets pitching has kind of taken them out of ball games before the offense can get rolling, and the offense is kind of laid over and died once the pitching has given up the goose. And then mix that in with a couple of guys being overworked, Reed Garrett and Huskar Brazaban being overworked in the bullpen. You got to have the perfect storm of when you're in a close game, the bullpen blows it. When your offense clicks, you happen to win the game. But when your starting pitching doesn't click, your offense doesn't click. So it becomes this perfect storm of issues for the Mets right now. And the Mets' goal right now, get to the All-Star break in one piece within shouting distance of the Phillies, and see if you can get a couple guys back. Senga's already throwing, which is a good sign. Manaya's back throwing. That's a good sign. So the reinforcements are going to come. It's just how long is it going to take them to get here? I know the Mets going to be in a position where the division might get a little bit away from them while they're waiting for these reinforcements to show up.
I will say this before Corey Favs goes. I mean, it tells you a lot of the story, and I know we cheated a little bit with our Bulls and Bears later on today and kind of checking back on the the last 2 weeks of stats. But according to MLB.com, Corey Favs in the last 15 games, or 15 days rather, How many different pitchers have the Mets used in that time frame? Take a guess.
It's different pitchers. You have a 5-man rotation.
I wouldn't even say pitch. You know what? I shouldn't even say
13 on
pitchers.
the roster.
Somebody who's thrown a ball from the mound.
If it's 13 on the roster, I bet you they've thrown 20 pitchers.
That's,
26.
Oh my God.
Subtracted by 2. 24.
24.
Oh my
Four
God.
different pitchers. And I can't even say pitchers because Travis Jankowski is one of these people who's thrown a ball from the mound this past week. But Corey Favs, I know it's been tough because past couple of weeks you've been in honeymoon mode, but I don't know how much Mets baseball you're able to watch. Hopefully not much. But how do you assess this team?
I mean, if I look at it from two angles, the one angle I'm going to look at is let's pretend it's the off season and July 1st. And it's like, all right, July 1st, Mets will be 2 games out of first place in the East, 11 games over 500. Great. I would have signed up for it. I would have been like, that's a perfect spot to be in going into the halfway point of the year. But it's the journey of how they got here that's absolutely dreadful because what was it? I think they were at their high point 21 games over 500, maybe 22. So that means within not even a month span, within a 2-week span, 2.5-week span, they basically dropped 10 games in their record, which is that is astronomically hard to do. When the Mets, right before they started that stretch, so they're going back to like June 12th or whatever, the day that Kodai Senga got hurt, and it seems like everything shifted from that game onwards. I think the Mets were the best team in baseball on that day. The Tigers might have had like a half game on them, but they were definitely the best team in the National League on that day. Since that point in time, just that 2.5-week window, they are the worst team in baseball record-wise in a 2.5-week window. The absolute low point getting swept by the lowly Pirates. You know, it's not like you got swept by the Braves and Phillies. All right, at least those are, Braves as bad as they've been. At least that's a rival. That's a team that's had multiple playoff runs in the last several years. The Phillies, again, that's a good team. That's a playoff team. If they would have swept you, okay, so it sucks. It is what it is. Dodgers is what it is. You get swept by the Pirates. The Pirates!
And not only swept by the Pirates, but taken to the cleaners by the Pirates.
Oh, my God.
The run differential between the two teams is absolutely ridiculous.
Oh, absolutely absurd. And at this point, it's like, the Mets just need an arm out there. You want an arm out there? If I ever have to see Paul Blackburn take the mound again, and chances are he's going to have to start this game on Friday, I'm going to lose my mind. The guy's making, what, 6, 7, or 8 million to get absolutely blasted out there. And the game this weekend with the Pirates, I think he had a 1-2-3 first inning. Then they had the rain delay. It was like an hour and 15 rain delay, something like that. He came back in and gives up 6 straight hits to not get an out, and then he has to come out of the game. And right off the rip, the Mets are down. They're down 5-0 right off the rip. And that's a day. I don't want to hear no excuse about the rain. The Mets desperately needed depth from the starting pitching that series because you saw what happened between the injuries. You're coming off the Griffin Canning injury a few days prior to that. Peterson hasn't given you much length. The bullpen's been gassed. You need at least 6 innings. I don't care about rain. What an absolute gutless effort by Paul Blackburn. Give me the veteran minimum out there, and I'll get 6 hits against me in a row.
And the thing is, the rain didn't affect the Pirates.
Correct.
The Mets hitters came out flat against the Pirates, so rain can't be an excuse when the other guy's matching it. So something went wrong. But listen, the Mets deadline list has gotten longer. The deadline list was we need to replace Minter with a big upgrade and a left-handed pitcher in the bullpen, and maybe could use another bat in center field. Now the Mets, they definitely need a bat, they definitely need a bullpen arm, and they definitely need a starter. Yep. So the Mets now have to get one of each. I hate that I've done it, but I've talked myself into wanting Byron Buxton. So I've started that train, even though the guy plays half the season. I've talked myself into wanting him. I'd love to get Seth Lugo back if the Royals fall out.
Of course, you would love to get Seth Lugo back, the best pitcher of all baseball.
And the heck with it. We might as well bring in Aroldis Chapman. Why not?
Oh my!
I hate him. So I'm at the point where those guys are all looking appealing to me. Lugo, nobody should have a problem with Lugo, but Buxton, who never stays on the field, and I got Chapman, who likes to do desk pops in his garage, so that I want, and both sound like appealing options to me at this moment.
Also, by the way, the schedule is a little outdated because the Mets did get rained out today, so they're moving today's game tomorrow, and I would think the pitching matchups are all going to get screwed up now.
And that game tomorrow might get rained out.
And Clay Holmes, who would have been a part of the Yankees Mets series, might not be a part of that series now.
Are we not going to get Stroman Montas on the 4th
I don't
anymore?
know. At this point, I don't know what we're getting.
Oh,
so we're just going to wait right now. Those probables are based on ESPN, so those are not definite. It's estimated now with the rain out today. Who the hell knows?
The commissioner needs to step in and give us Stroman and Montas.
As good as the Screwball Skeens matchup would have been, this is just as good for the opposite reason.
That's going to be.
They didn't fall short. They gave us Mizorowski and Skeens last week, so we'll take that. That was nice. But yes, give the people what they want. We want to see Frankie Montas and Marcus Stroman on the 4th of July. We want fireworks early on Friday afternoon.
Home Run Derby came early this year. If that's
Home Run Derby came early. Yeah, absolutely. Maybe a few of those guys will be participants in this year's Derby as well. We'll find out as we get closer.
No, of my luck, I'll bet the over on that game, and it'll be 2-0.
Yep.
You're probably right. Yeah, it'll probably be a pitching gem on both sides. Quick shout out around the chat before we go to the Yankee side of the house. Jacob Petruzzi in the building. Shout out to you. Jordan DeRose reposted the stream. Appreciate you. Kristen, no telling what the Subway series will hold. I want good baseball. I mean, the way these teams are playing,
better look elsewhere.
It could be good. These could be good games just because of the low-level baseball that both of these teams have been playing over the last month.
That's not good baseball. That's bad baseball.
Oh, for the sake of watching two teams struggle together, I guess it will be competitive and fun. But Tom, let's get into the Yankee side of the house. And for the New York Yankees, we got to. Unfortunately, it's been a bad couple of days. And now add to the last 17 games. Well, now the last 18. They are now 6-12 in their last 18 games here. Playing pitiful baseball. The funny thing, Tom, it's just every time it seems like something's going right, and this is really akin to what Corey Favs put on Instagram the other day. They take one step forward and 2 steps back. I mean, this is what the team has done. Every time it seems like they've gotten over the hump, they'll put up a 10-plus run performance, and you're like, okay, you're feeling good again, and that's why the Yankees are still towards the top with runs and OPS and batting average and whatnot. Then they can't scratch across more than 2 runs after planting those 2 runs in the first 2-3 innings of a ball game. They struggle with with the struggles in running in scoring position. They don't know how to run the base paths. Their fielding is subpar. They still have guys out of position. Their bullpen is so taxed and just so unreliable that I don't know who I could put out there right now. Believe it or not, probably the one pitcher who's doing well out of the bullpen is Devin Williams at this point, which was the biggest problem to start the year off. But outside the starting pitching, Tom, I don't think there's an asset in this Yankees team that I can currently trust, with the exception of Aaron Judge.
Yeah, the concerning thing to me, and I know I've been on here for a while here saying I'm not concerned, and I'm not telling you that I think the Yankees are going to miss the playoffs, but there is more concern now than there has been. What's really bothering me is that defense has come up again. The bad defense, the bad throws. What the hell is Anthony Volpe doing? I'm sorry, Anthony Volpe. If you're going to be a below average hitter, which you've proven to be a below average major league hitter, you have to be a plus shortstop. He made the 2 errors last night. The ball today, it was the hard hit ball, bases loaded. I'm sorry, if you're a below average hitter, you got to make the play. He missed the ball. I don't care if it took a tough hop. If you're a below average hitter and you're playing shortstop, you need to make those plays. And it's not good enough. And the Volpe thing is, it's really annoying. And it's other players too, right? There's other players, out of position. Jazz made a bad throw today. I think that
why is Jazz playing third? Can somebody explain the logic behind putting a second baseman I know he did an okay job last year. He's not a third baseman.
I believe
they don't have another option though. That's
DJ can't play third. DJ's played more games at third than
he could barely play second base at this stage.
I get that, but third base is you don't need to range as far for third base.
I think the Yankees believe they'll have a better chance acquiring a second baseman than a third baseman at the deadline. And if you're gonna acquire a second baseman, then Jazz is going to play third.
It's a
myth, I think what they're trying to do. Because yes, Jazz is better second baseman. Sorry.
And the reason why I keep calling it a myth, though, Tom, is because if you look at the teams that are clearly out of it right now, we don't know how the rest of the market's opening up. And we mentioned this several times at nauseum. The fact that there are so many playoff teams going into October now, it opens up the market for what a buyer could be, because the trade deadline still remains July 31st. I mean, the deadline should have probably been extended out to mid-August now with the expanded playoffs. So we don't really know what the true market is. Now, look, last year there was a seller to the Detroit Tigers. They moved on from Jack Flaherty. They were within one win away from moving on to the American League Championship Series after that. So the problem is I can't tell you what all the options are, because I don't know what the seller's market truly is by the time we get to that point. But I can tell you right now, if you look at the teams that are their trajectory is going down, you look at the second base and third base options that are realistic, there's just as many second base options as there are third base options, which are not many. It's a very thin market for both positions.
But keep in mind, right? The trade, I know we think that, the trade deadline comes and that's when all this action starts happening. All 30 teams right now, they're calling into each other and they're figuring out, hey, listen, if you fall out of it, what would it cost to get this guy? And they get that information now. So now, are they going to be right on this? I don't know, because it doesn't make logical sense to have Jazz at third and DJ at second. If you're going to have two people out of position, if you're going to have a below average third baseman at this point, you might as well have a plus second baseman, because Jazz is really good at second base. He's more experienced there. He uses range more there. He's really good at second base. I'd prefer that. I think they think that there's something out there that they're going to be able to get, and they'd rather get Jazz reps now. And maybe that's going to bite him in the ass. It probably will, but they're stubborn. We know they're stubborn.
I think Eugenio Suarez is the move. I think if the Diamondbacks.
I think so too. But what if the Yankees have called the Diamondbacks and the Diamondbacks said, "Listen, we're not buying what you're selling. We don't want." Right? We talk about prospects on the show all the time, and one team views a prospect differently. The Diamondbacks could look at the Yankees prospects and say, none of this matches what we want, and the Royals might say, oh my God, we love that pitcher, and we value him so much.
But if a team like the Diamondbacks is expecting a team to just forfeit their 1 or 2 or 3 top prospects with only 2 months of control of Suarez. That's a little bit of an unrealistic ask, despite the great start for Suarez this season.
That's not what he's going to cost.
Listen, and I'm not saying multiple teams aren't going to be interested in Suarez. He's going to be the premier bat, I think, that's going to be available because of that power. But if you're talking a perfect fit for what the Yankees particularly need, and the Mets could also call in on Suarez, and I wouldn't be upset with it. But the Mets have 5 different pieces that could go into third base at the moment. The Yankees do not. And so if you're asking me who needs him more, I think the Yankees need him from a positional standpoint. I think the Mets need a center fielder more than anything.
Yeah, the Mets, if anything, are doing it for the offense. Yeah, but for the Yankee standpoint, the position, it's the perfect fit. And it's just funny too, because how many times have we been mentioning third base throughout? I feel like the whole offseason agenda, everything was third base. We're doing third base. July 1st, third base. We're closer to the offseason agenda for this year than last year, and it's going to be third base again.
Khoury, the Yankees have had third base issues since we started this show in 2022. Yep. The Yankees have had a revolving door at a position, which is supposed to be a cornerstone position of your team, which is a source of power, a position where you probably see in the 2, 3, 4 spots of your lineup. And the Yankees have answered that call with an aging DJ LeMahieu, an aging Josh Donaldson, Oswald Peraza, who's been nothing but a failed prospect, and I'm forgetting one more player off the top, Oswaldo Cabrera, who's a utility player. I mean, they've had no answer for a position that's supposed to be a source of offense.
Oh, and that
it doesn't really even count.
That's a long time ago.
And that's after going a decade with A-Rod.
Here's what I'll say if we want to be optimistic, which this team doesn't give you a lot of optimism. If you turn back the clock a year, no Yankee fan thought Jazz Chisholm was out there to be traded for. So there could be guys out there that the Yankees are going to try to acquire that maybe other teams don't know are available or just the news hasn't gotten out there yet. So
to be fair, they also were trying to acquire Jazz Chisholm to be their second baseman, and
second baseman Jazz was available. Everybody knew that the Marlins would trade Jazz. He was their only decent asset last year.
He had all those years control. He had all the controllable years at a very good rate. I know he has the injury history, but when he's healthy, but look how good he's been. He's next to Judge. He's the second most reliable hitter in the lineup right now.
And as much as I like Jazz, I mean, the Marlins got Augustine Ramirez, who's looking like a NL Rookie of the Year candidate in 2025. Yeah. And guys, you remember last year on a little segment called "Who's on Deck" that we were covering said prospect Augustine Ramirez, because here we actually look and investigate into young players and see the potential in those players. And
the Yankees had 14. The Yankees had like 14 different catching prospects. They had to move on from them.
I think in Augustine's case, the biggest thing was he's not a good defender. And I think the Yankees saw him as a full-time DH,
right?
And the Yankees just don't have room for that kind of player at the moment. As we're trying to see him with the Ben Rice issue.
We have plenty of bad defensive catchers.
I'll be honest, I kind of want to see this team give Rice more run at catcher here. Thus far, he's looked good. He's looked like the catcher he looked like in the minor league.
Well, they had 2 shutouts with him, right?
Yes,
absolutely. Yeah. We don't have time to get into that, but
anyway. We'll move forward. We'll move forward from that. That's the Empire Express. And before we get into Book It, check out our guy Took's pick. Let's talk about Instagram. Corey Favs, what's the latest and greatest with the all colorful spin the wheel for our country picks here to establish?
I've been singing your praises on this show, Corey. This has been.
Yes.
I think you're great. I know you've had reels that have gotten literally millions of views. This is your greatest creation. I tune in. I refresh Instagram to watch this.
I love it. I love the support, and it's meant to be fun. So go ahead and follow us at Empire State of Baseball to follow the country wheel. And essentially a quick summary of what we're doing over there. Each day we're doing a random spin of a wheel, and there's 250 roughly, give or take, countries in the world. At random, see what comes up, and we're drafting a team based on heritage. It doesn't have to be born in the country, because if it's born in the country, less than 20% of countries would have an eligible player. So we're doing it based on heritage, and that's where we have guys like Hal Harabsky with Austria, Hungary, the Mad Hungarian. You saw Longoria. Longoria, he's born in the United States, but his mom's side of the family is Ukrainian. So it's like, we're doing it based on heritage. So we're going to give you the qualification there for Ukraine as well. So go ahead and follow us. We're trying to build a full 26-man roster, see if it's a World Series caliber team. But you could follow that on Instagram at Empire State of Baseball. You can also follow us individually, myself at Corey Favs, Joe at JR Pugs, Rich at Rich J. Rivera, and Tom at T. Wospil. We hit 7,200 last week, and we're still growing. So hoping to get to 10K by the end of the year.
How many countries you said were on that wheel?
It's about 2 something. It's every country. So what is that? 240.
With the way the summer started, there might be 2 less by the time we finish this wheel. So enjoy the segment as we last here, because it's been fun as we watch it. So really good stuff here today. There was no player pick because it was one of those rando countries that probably have a substitute teacher filling in for their best team out in wherever the hell you picked. So there you go. Shout out to Corey Favs. Great work over there. Make sure to give us a follow at Empire State of Baseball on Instagram. Let's talk Book It with our guy Took. And before I get into Book It's pick, Book It, a book with Took, affiliated with Disney and Universal Studios Travel. I asked Took before. I was like, hey, what do you want to shout out? He's still plugging away at Halloween and Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. Also, and I didn't know this, I guess it makes sense that Universal has their own version of that as well, called Universal Halloween Horror Nights. So we're already thinking Halloween. We're already thinking about October. So if you're on Instagram, give my man a follow at Book with Took for all your vacation needs this summer and into the fall. I mean, maybe a little bit late on the summer part, but definitely for the fall and with Halloween coming up. So with that said, we got to get to our guy, Mr. Took. And of course, the video didn't pull what I wanted to. So we're going to try it again here. And let's go over to Book with Took with his pick for this week's game. And I can only wonder what these games are. And I'm clearly stalling because this video still hasn't loaded yet. I don't know what's going on. I think we know where he's going with this. But yeah, it's gonna be Subway Series. We know that for a fact. And while the video is loaded up, I'll just ask the question real quick that I asked Joe last night. Who needs a series win more? With these two teams in their rut, Joe, you already answered last night. We know your answer. You guys know my answer on this one. So I'm more focused on Khoury and Tom here. Which team needs the series win the most between the Mets and the Yankees? Khoury, then Tom.
It's the Mets, just considering how much. I mean, the Yankees had a bad second half of June. The Mets had a dreadful second half of June. But knowing the fallout that's going to happen, the team that loses the series needed the series. That'll be my formal answer.
Yeah, I think it might be the Mets. Honestly, I think it's bad both ways. Listen, it's 49-51 of who needs this more. I think it might be the Mets because what Khoury said, the Mets have been worse than the Yankees. Despite how hard that's been, the Yankees been very bad. I think the Mets might need this more to kind of get back on track and to kind of get their footing, like Joe said, figure out some pitching, figure out some stuff. The Yankees at least have some pieces in place, and they just need other things to click, where the Mets feel like nothing's working right now.
Yep, Mets need it. Mets need it a little bit more. But I like Khoury's sentiment. The team that loses needed that series win more for momentum. Okay, let's get over to Took for his pick. Go ahead, Matt.
What's up, ESB crew? Took is back with the Book It pick of the week. And this week, we got the great 4th of July and America's birthday. And what a great way to celebrate this weekend than with a great baseball series. Yankees versus the Mets kicking off on 4th of July. What a great thing. I got the Yankees taking this series, and Goldie is going to be the player to watch. Goldie is going to hit a firework home run on the 4th of July. Booking it now. What are you guys thinking?
Okay, so Took has officially cursed the Yankees now for this weekend. So that's great. Good job, Matt. With the way his resume's gone, 6-12 overall in the 2025 season. Guys, I turn it over to you and ask the $1 million question: what is going to be the result of this weekend series between the Mets and Yankees? Joe, we'll start with you, and then we'll go to Khoury and then Tom.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Took is the reverse jinx. I'm gonna have to go. I think the Mets are just gonna come in far more desperate than the Yankees. Not by far, but I think the Mets are gonna be really, really desperate. They're gonna be at home. They're gonna look for an energizer bump before the All-Star break. This is the series for them to wake up. This is the series that can get them woken up. They're not going to sweep. I know Fried's pitching at least one of the games, I believe.
He's not pitching multiple games. What?
Well, Fried will definitely get the latter game. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So I think the Mets get 3 out of 2 out of 3 here in this series and start to wake up again.
Okay, Tom.
Yankees have Fried and Rodon pitching in the series. For two teams that don't have a lot of things going, the one thing the Yankees do have going is starting pitching, and especially with what who knows what the Mets situation is going to be with potential double headers going into this into the series. If with the rainouts with the Brewers, they could have that bullpen that's already taxed more. So I'll take the Yankees just because I think the pitching can hold up, and then hopefully they can scratch some runs across.
Khoury?
I think Future called it right. It's the battle of mid this weekend. Completely agree. I'm going to be a little different here. I'm not going to pick the team that wins, but I'm going to predict a sweep. It's either a 3-0 sweep Yankees or 3-0 sweep Mets.
I can see that.
I think one of the teams is going to fall apart, and I can't wait for the fireworks. No pun intended. That Monday morning.
And I wonder, regardless of what Team X that sweeps Team Y in the 3-0, I wonder if that becomes the momentum shift they need, and that's possible. Regardless of their matchups. I don't know what the Mets schedule will be on this week. I know the Yankees, I think, play the Seattle Mariners next week, so. You wonder if either team could just take that momentum and just continue on a good split. I mean, we've seen that too, where, the Mets took the last 2 games against the Atlanta Braves in that 4-game set. So you're thinking, okay, maybe this is now the turn of a good split. You're facing the Pittsburgh Pirates. You could turn this really into a 4 out of 5. Wasn't the case. I think it's not even just about like these one-off series that you win. It's about continuing that dominance for a stretch of time to cement your lead in an East Division. For the Mets right now, it's the National League wild card. Hopefully to get right back into the top of the NL East mix where they are. Of course, they're not totally out of it. What do you got?
Mets go from the 3 games with the Yankees to 3 in Baltimore and 3 in Kansas City before the All-Star break.
All right. There you go. No audition for Seth Lugo before you get traded to the New York Mets. There you have it. Future here goes. Game 1 will go 55 innings and we both lose. Don't know how that's possible. Game 2 will go 30 innings with a Soto walk-off warning track ball out. No one will be on base. Game 3 will be canceled because both will lose. I don't even know why I decided to read any of that, but shout out to you, Future, for your creativity. And shout out to the rest of you in here. Ben Cruz over at the Empty the Bench Network says Yankees are going to get Brian Hayes, I think. I know, Joe, you had your thoughts on Brian Hayes there.
I don't get why people want Hayes. He can't hit.
We have an Oswald Peraza at home.
He can't hit.
Brian Hayes.
He's a great fielder. There's no disrespect to him. He cannot hit, and the Yankees got too many guys that can't hit to begin with. No. Volpe can't hit. Wells can't hit. The DJ can't hit. They got enough guys like that. Why would you go out and get another guy?
Maybe 3 years ago it would have been interesting when he had potential, but eventually you know what you are.
And normally I like bringing guys out of the misery 7th circle of hell franchises and giving them a shot at some real playing time and give them some motivation. I'm sorry. What do you give it? A month and a half until the Yankees watching a guy bat 200 with a 250 on base percentage? The Yankees are going to be ready to burn him at the stake by the end of it. They'll get him July 31st, and then they'll be kicking him to the curb by September 1st.
Yeah, the patience runs thin on defensive first players. And the problem is the Yankees are already storing a couple of those guys in the middle to bottom of the order. They don't need another one. They need offense. They need a bat. So in this case, I'm switching my tune Whereas at the end of last year, I was prioritizing defense. Now I'm like, yo, they need bats, man. This lineup is just not doing it right now. They have to get somebody that's going to be an impact player in the middle part.
Well, if they're not going to field, they might as well hit. They're not doing either right now.
By the way, we have a big crowd out here. I just looked at the number, 166 in the building. So shout out to you all, and I really do appreciate it, especially for a day that we typically don't go live. We're typically on Monday nights at 8 p.m. So to transfer over to Tuesday and see a big crowd is a great thing. So I really do appreciate it. All right, let's touch on YouTube. With that, Joe, let's talk about what's going down at the Tube.
Yes, we are live on Instagram and X, but YouTube is our preferred platform. Why we can interact with you guys live on the show, on the stream. So do us a favor. We got 168 in the building, 160 something on Twitter, on X at the moment, excuse me.
Hey, now.
Go over to YouTube, hit the subscribe button, join the discussion there. It's free. We have 469 subscribers. Once we get to 500 subscribers, we're going to do a giveaway. The last time we gave up 2 autographed baseball cards.
Let's not say who. Let's just say they were autographed and they were nice, and
but they were numbered. They were exclusive. So we'll find something equally as cool to give away. Maybe it'll be a ball. Maybe it'll be a pack. Whatever it is. So go over it. Help us hit that road to 500. And get us up to that mark. And once we do that,
we just dog our prizes here on this, Tom. We're a growing channel. God damn it!
It was nice. At the time, it was nice. I'm just saying, like, I don't want to. I mean, listen, I don't care what Met prospect we put in there, but like we're not putting a George Lombard in there. I mean, he might tear both his Achilles.
You're treating like we're putting dog shit in a brown paper bag and giving it out. Like, what are we doing?
I mean, Oswald Peraza's
autograph card's an autograph card, especially if it's free.
My point is that those players stink now. At the time, it was exciting. At the time, it was exciting. They stink now.
They were top prospects.
I said.
Yeah,
just not, think about
175 in the building. I do appreciate it, and Joe, I do appreciate the plug on YouTube. I never try to bullshit the crowd here. I was disheartened to find out we lost a subscriber earlier today. So come on, 176. Can we make it up? Can we at least get the one back?
We're up to 170. I just checked.
Okay, perfect. We're good.
There we go.
We're back.
Very good.
All right, let's talk Bulls and Bears with our Bear list. Tom, take a nice drink of that water, whatever the hell you're drinking there, and let's touch on our Bears list for the last 2 weeks.
The entire 52 men between the Yankees and the Mets.
Yes.
Good man.
But I guess if we narrow it down to 5, we'll start at 5. I think his first time on the Bear list, at least I can remember, is Francisco
first time on any list.
Crazy to see him down here. Joe mentioned having some injury situation right now with the toe, but he's been very bad. Austin Wells, who's now become one of the bigger targets of Yankee Twitter, especially ESB Twitter, also been very bad. His low average, low on base, no OPS, striking out, not playing great defensively. Not what you want to see. We got Brazaban at number 3 here. When your ERA is double digits and it starts out at 2, that's rough. That's a rough. 4 innings, 10 walks, 11 earned runs. That's horrendous. Truly, I might be able to do better. Number 2, we got Paul Blackburn. Corey talked about him before with the rain game and just getting absolutely shellacked. And you get extra Bear points when you get shellacked by the Pirates. And number 1, we have Took's pick to shine this week. Jesus. Paul Goldschmidt, 081. Now listen, defensively he's been really good. I think I saw he is leading the league in picks at first base, mostly because we got Volpe and Jazz throwing lawn darts over to him. So that's good. I appreciate that, but I mean Goldschmidt needs to be better at the plate. Number 1 Bear of the week.
I go ahead, Joe, because I know exactly where you're going to go with that.
I do agree with the chat. Volpe should be there over Lindor.
So,
but here's the deal. Francisco Lindor has a lot higher.
He does.
Expectations than Volpe. And if you look at their stats, they're pretty similar.
Correct.
He does. But you also got to remember, Volpe's played some bad defense lately.
So looking at Volpe, so this was Volpe in that same time period, by the way, folks. Mm-hmm. And you can listen, Goldschmidt at number 1, I think was well deserved. Hell, I think 1 through 3, we absolutely got it right with those 3 in their placement. And Brazaban, especially, who was once a Bull at one point. Volpe in the 2-week period, 125 batting average, 265 on base, a 515 OPS. He struck out 14 times in that span. So, yeah, I mean, Volpe probably should be at the tail end of that Bear list, and it is surprising. But I think Tom's point...
It's a lower average, but better on base, better
worse fielding.
I think if the Bulls and Bears voting started tomorrow for the last 2 weeks, I think Volpe squeezes in just on the events of the last few days for sure.
Right.
But Volpe was 6th. He just missed it. Lindor just beat him for the fast spot.
Yeah, there's a lot of Volpe hate right now. But there was a Met too that was right on the precipice of making that Bear list, and David Peterson, who was again another former Bull. Peterson was bad in those few. The Bear list this time was a tough one to pick because there was a lot of people there, and I was fully expecting Anthony Volpe to be a part of it. But when you digest some of the Yankee numbers over the last few weeks, especially Wells too, it's been bad in Yankee land when it comes to the offense. So yeah, Volpe shockingly does not make the bottom 5 Bears list. But we go over to Bulls, we go over to the good. And with the good, I'm going to throw it over to my guy, Corey Favs, who's on the return back from his honeymoon. So, Corey, let's run down our Bulls list for the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, and listen, I know not the best 2 weeks for both teams, but got to get some Bulls here. 4 Yankees and a Met. Starting at the bottom, Will Lauren. And I think Will Warren, I think, has taken the Volpe shoes from last year, where I feel like every other week Volpe was swapping lists, and I feel like Will Warren's doing a similar type vibe because I think he's been a Bull before. He's definitely been a Bear several times, so he's back on the Bull list, number 5. Max Fried finds himself pretty much on this list every 2 weeks. What a signing for the Yankees, is exactly what you wanted. I know, not the best of starts today, not the worst either. Unfortunate loss for the Yankees, but Max Fried's always finding himself, it seems like, on these Bulls lists. Jazz Chisholm Jr., we talked about him a little bit before. 321 average, OPS over 1, 4 home runs, 11 RBIs. Nice spark coming back for Mr. Jazz. Clark Schmidt flirted with a no-hitter during this Bull period, so he definitely earned himself a spot on the Bulls. It's a shame his pitch count was a little high, and then the bullpen immediately gave it up. But Clark Schmidt had a very, very nice few-week stretch. And then number 1, very, very ironically, because Juan Soto was the one offensive piece really struggling for the Mets when they were doing good, we said, oh, wait for the offense when Juan Soto wakes up. Well, he woke up a 245 OPS, 7 home runs, 11 RBIs in this 2-week period, but he's literally the only one hitting. I think all of those home runs outside of one was a solo shot. Phenomenal 2-week stretch, but the rest of the Mets offense was a bear this week.
Go ahead, Joe. Sorry.
The ironic part on the Juan Soto thing is he was 3 for 22 with runners in scoring position. So if you look at the week he had and how great of a stretch he had, he's still not hitting with runners in scoring position, which it just drives you insane. But there's no question. I mean, Juan Soto's completely fine. He's the last guy I'm worried about. The hits with runners in scoring position are gonna come eventually. But yeah, that's. He was the only bright spot to what the Mets were doing in the last couple of weeks.
Now, I was trying to look through our records from last year because I believe now that Juan Soto is number 1 as a Bull as a New York Met, he is probably I think he's the only player since we've done the Bulls and Bears list to be a number 1 Bull as a member of the Mets and as a member of the New York Yankees. I have to look at this. Judge was just all over that list last year as number 1. But if Soto had made that list, yes,
who else would even have had a chance to do that?
Well, Lindor,
Rich said as a Met and a Yankee.
Well, Soto was a Yankee last year.
Yeah, but my point is, who else could even have done that? Yeah, Clay Holmes,
maybe.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He's the only one. I mean, true. Yeah. It's a short list of candidates. I understand, but I think it's still kind of cool that it's somebody on both sides that did that. So
when was the last time Judge did not make the Bulls list? That's why I really want to know, Rich.
I'm going back here.
It's not this year.
Judge,
he's been on it all year.
I got it. Actually found it instantly. Wow. You got to go all the way back to the week of September 2nd, 2024 to September 15th, 2024. Right. The number 1 Bull that week was Francisco Lindor. Number 2 was Gleyber Torres. Number 3 was Jose Quintana. Number 4 was Sean Manaea. And number 5 was Luis Hill. That was the last time Aaron Judge was not featured on the Bulls list all the way back in September. So much for the Aaron Judge memorial list here, the Bulls list. But looking at the Yankees part of it, Tom, I like seeing that there are 4 Yankees on this list, the majority of them from the starting rotation. Any of these guys that you want to call out here among the Yankees group?
I said before, but Jazz has really brought a spark back to the offense. So I love to see him there, and then hopefully some other guys can start picking it up because the pitching has been great this year, starting pitching especially.
There you go. And honestly, outside of Clark Schmidt's last start, where all those 4 earned runs came from, he was actually on a scoreless inning streak for about 3 games there, and it came to a head this past weekend against the Athletics of all teams. But Clark Schmidt, I think if he would have continued that progress, I mean, there would have been an argument for him to be the number 1 Bull of the past 2 weeks. That's how good Clark Schmidt has pitched, and he's really pitched himself into a position, even Will Warren now at the bottom end, where I don't think of the moves the Yankees need to make, barring injury and barring some really bad stretch from now until the midseason deadline, I think starting pitching is the one area where I think the Yankees are pretty confident in. You got Luis Hill coming back. Yeah, you got Marcus. You're dealing with Marcus Stroman. You got Ryan Yarbrough on the mend right now. But I think starting pitching is where I feel the most confident in the Yankees right now. I know we're not doing our 3 up, 3 down segment from last year anymore. But that is definitely the position of most confidence with starting pitching. And it shows right here on the Bulls list. So with that said, that's our Bears and Bulls. And with that, we have to move on now to the trading floor. So let's sound the bell for the trading floor. It's time. It is time to take a look at the new evaluations as we move on to a new week here of the trading floor. And as we look at this, guys, Joe, Khoury, and Tom, so there are some changes, as you can tell. The folks that are highlighted in green, that's the green ESP Bucks you're seeing. Those are the guys who made the Bulls list. The ones highlighted in red made the Bears list for this past week. Improvements from Max Fried, Juan Soto, a little bit of a fallback for Francisco Lindor. He's down to 76.05, still pretty a high price guy. Clark Schmidt, who is in the bottom realm of the Bears, he's now up to 49 points after his placement. 49 points, 49 ESP Bucks after his placement on the list. And then if you move over to the bottom end of this, it's a little bit more full of a page here. You trend all the way down to poor Ryan Stanek, who's at 15 ESP Bucks. So with that, let's go around the room. Now, I will say this. We did touch on who we were investing in because we are already 2 Yankee games into the week. The Mets haven't played yet. So we talked about this before yesterday's Yankee game began of who we were going to invest in. So we've already made our decisions before any of the games were played. So Khoury, Favs, let's take a look at your group and start with you. Who are you investing in this week?
Yeah, my investment for this week, first taking a look at who we have here. So Brandon Nimmo, Clark Schmidt, and Juan Soto. Juan Soto is going to be a hold for at least several more weeks, maybe even longer. I think Soto is finally turning into himself, so want to hold on to him there. Clark Schmidt, you did exactly what I wanted you to do. I had a few extra bucks, had to find a third player, figured you had some upside, invested in you. I think 4 weeks ago I did on Clark. So I'll gladly take the profit on him, $14 profit. I'm going to sell him. Brandon Nimmo, again, Brandon Nimmo had a couple of votes, but he was maybe 8th on the Bull list this week, so he didn't make the cut. He's having a nice stretch. But now that I got a little bit of money, thanks to Mr. Clark, and 15 in my back pocket there from a prior week, I'm going to sell Nimmo, I'm going to sell Schmidt, and I'm going to make a pretty big deal. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to purchase Max Fried. I think that leaves me with like $3 or $4 left over if I did my math correctly.
$3.12.
Do it.
3.12 ESP Bucks for you. So going Max Fried and Juan Soto as your investments here. Good call there. Schmidt and Nimmo back to the trading floor here. Joe, let's move over to your group and see what you got for us.
Yeah. So I got Pete, which I'm holding. I'm sticking with him. I got Clark Schmidt on the low. So him making the second
after
pick.
you cheated last week.
I didn't know. Oh, come on. There was no blackout restrictions.
I don't know who I should pick. Oh, maybe the guy who's thrown 6 scoreless innings.
This is why we make these picks before games.
Yeah, it's called the Pugliese rule.
There's no blackout restrictions.
Some insider trading bullshit.
There's no insider trading. Don't worry about that. So Schmidt has I contemplated holding him. But because of the back end of rotation, I'll take my profit and run. Juan Soto, obviously,
cheater.
Going up. Hey, money's money. Juan Soto going up now. I'm holding him. He's hot. We're going to keep that rolling. We're going to ride that train similar to Tom riding Aaron Judge. So we're going to do that. So we're going to sell Clark Schmidt. And I'm going to turn around. I'm going to put my faith. He got a little bit of a refresher. We're going to put up my faith in Mark Vientos.
Boy, buy a Met. Sell Yankee, buy a Met. And now you got 3 Mets here. So you got Pete.
I did not mean to do that, but that's just the way it worked out.
So if my math checks out here, by selling Schmidt's 49, you add your 10 that you had already. You have 59. You take away Vientos' 50 because he was still at base value. That leaves you with 9 ESB bucks and an investment in Alonso, Soto, and Mark Vientos. Okay, Tom, let's go over to you.
Anymore?
Who?
Vientos.
Vientos just got off the IL.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's back up.
okay, sure.
He's back up. Tom, a very simple list. It's just Aaron Judge. And since Aaron Judge went unranked, and look at the trend now, folks. Ever since Tom made the investment in Judge, he went down to 4. Now he's off the list. Tom, you still sticking by your guy, or are you going to sell the profit now and try to add more players to the mix? What do you got?
We are holding pat on Aaron Judge.
All right. Holding.
I'm
sir.
praying for a Bears list. I'm praying.
I really don't know if it's going to get that bad. I'm
praying for a drop in stock.
But Tom's going to hold. So Aaron Judge is there. For me, I went Rodon, Soto, and somehow got away with Anthony Volpe not being a member of the Bears list. So I'm going to sell Volpe. I'm going to sell Volpe and run far fucking away. I'm selling Rodon too, and not that Rodon had a bad 2 weeks. He had a good 2 weeks. I'm scared that Carlos Rodon that's still within him may come out during his next couple of starts up until the next time we do our trading floor next time. So I am selling Volpe. I'm selling Rodon. That gives me 120 ESB bucks to play with. And with that, I'm going to make an investment on a bear of this week, who's actually more of a bull profit, Francisco Lindor. Francisco Lindor is valued down to 76.05 ESB bucks. I'm going with that. And I'm also going to be investing in Ben Rice. I think Ben Rice is going to get a little bit more playing time now. We don't know how serious the Trent Grisham injury is, but there is, and with Austin Wells also with his hand issue, I think there's going to be a little bit more Ben Rice that we're going to see over the next couple of weeks. And I think I want to take advantage of Ben Rice's bear value. He's valued at 25 ESB bucks. And so I'm going to make the investment on Ben Rice and Francisco Lindor and hold Juan Soto for our next trading floor. So feeling good about that. And
you got the chart of the values, right?
What's up with that?
Do we have the chart of the values just so they can see?
Well, we got we still got these values. Okay. If you're talking about the graph, I don't think we have the updated graphs, but yes. So that's one thing. And shout out to Joe, who's been really spearheading this whole trading floor a bit. For our next trading floor, New York Strike Exchange will be in 2 weeks' time. We're going to have more graphs that you're going to see. So this is really going to look like a legitimate stock market. So credit to you, Joe, for putting all those together. It's going to really look professionally done, as if we all are just real investors in the New York Stock Exchange. So going to be a lot of fun when we get back to it in 2 weeks' time. So from there, we're going to move on, and let's touch on X before we get into Khore Kurriculum, the returning Khore Kurriculum. And on X, give us a follow at ESB Podcast. Give our subsidiaries a follow. What's going on?
I need you, Khore. I live for Khore Kurriculum.
Yeah. I think we all need a Khore Kurriculum.
You're trailing me, Bayan.
At ESB Podcast, at ESBNYM, at ESBNYY. Give the fellows a follow at Corey Favs, at JR Pugs, at T Wospil, and at Rich J Rivera. Also, give my friends over at A Bronx Take a follow at Sierra Not Missed, at Chris Nieves 618, and at Boogie Dan NYY. And make sure to check out our daily space, A Bronx Take, scatter times throughout the week. It's been a fun Yankees conversation. We actually just hit 100 episodes of A Bronx Take already on Monday. So a cool little accomplishment. When you're doing the show daily, I mean, you're going to hit the 100 marks pretty easily there. We also talked to Friday's episode was crazy. We talked from John Missed the Bath, and that was wild. So if you want to go back and check out that episode, number 99 on Friday, that was wild on A Bronx Take. But we're going to move on from all this and move the focus over to our ESP game. So before we bring our returning segment back here, let's take a look at the standings. And boy, howdy, are they close. Joe in the lead with 15, and we have a 3-way tie for second place. And this is just a bad job by me and Tom here. Corey was out the last 2 weeks, and we could not even get past Corey Favs while he was out on his freaking honeymoon. What the hell happened? What was going on here?
And I gave Corey that one question, and Corey got it instantly.
I knew right away.
fan.
Come on, the Luis Castillo's one of the biggest Yankee moments of the past few decades.
Joe, no, he's not, because we don't care about that.
Really? You show the highlight 15 times a year?
Well, it's funny, but it's
How
not.
many times are we going to see the highlight this weekend? Over under 4.
Is it almost a 1-year anniversary, or he passed it already? The 1-year anniversary.
Passed it.
6-year anniversary.
That was in June.
But oh man. But let's move on to our game, our returning game. It's been a while since we had this guy on. He's had a lot of great things happen in his life, and I want to shout out my guy and bring him back on once again. The returning Andrew Khoury, our guy, the creator of Khore Kurriculum. Khore, my guy, first of all, congratulations to you. New father, brought in a beautiful baby. I got a little card in the mail the other day of your baby. Shout out to my guy Chenzo there, and congratulations once again, man.
Thanks. Good to be back.
Got some tired faces right here.
Long
A lot of dads. Three-fifths dads on your screen right here, folks. But Khore, let's get right into it, man. Let's touch on your trivia questions. I mean, we have some big points on the line. As you saw, we're pretty close in the standings, Joe, with a 3-point lead over everybody else. So let's get this game kicked off. Let's start with your first of 2 questions in addition to Khore Kurriculum.
Let's do it.
Question real quick. Do we get 3 strikes on each question?
That is correct. Still 3 strikes in each question. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Go ahead, Khore.
Okay, so June 20th, Christian Yelich collected 8 RBIs in a single game without scoring a run. Who was the last player to accomplish this rare feat?
Ooh, oh God, that's
8 RBI in a
This is
game without scoring.
This one's literally going to be just a shot in the dark. I'm trying to think of sluggers who are slower. Big Poppy.
No.
Okay. K for Khoury.
that.
We need this narrowed in
8
some
RBI
way.
in a single game without scoring a run.
Yeah, because most people who get 8 RBIs usually hit home runs.
That's like top of the lineup Sunday softball right there.
That's probably the best hint I can give you is a lot of those people that collect 8 RBIs do hit home runs. So
IKF.
No.
KF. What the?
Yeah, that's the because unless Khore, you're saying that this guy probably doesn't hit home runs.
Correct.
Thank you, Rich.
This guy
Jackass.
doesn't hit a home run.
IKF. 8 RBI for IKF.
Let's go.
If you look at the history of everyone who has gotten an 8 RBI game, a majority of them have hit home runs.
Luis Arias.
No.
That's
Yes.
It's a double. That's a double K because me and Joe both guessed at the same time.
Yeah.
Fuck. All right, so K for everybody thus far. Damn it, Joe, get out of my head.
Because I'm trying to think of like
guys like IKF.
Anthony Rendon.
No.
No, he doesn't play at all.
Yeah, but last time it could have been National Rendon when he gave a shit about baseball.
Well, then he hit.
All right, that's K for me.
I know Judge had one, but he had to hit home runs in that.
I'll hold for a little bit.
Yeah. Is this a current player? You allowed to ask that question?
I think that's fair.
Hints.
Yeah.
Current
yeah.
player.
Doesn't sound very current.
That would be nice to know about a K ago.
Wow.
Well, that's why I waited till everybody,
I got like 5 guesses I want to go with, but I'd rather you I'm just gonna lie and wait for a little bit.
Again, I freaking can't be Ohtani, right? He would hit a home run in that.
Mm. He also did play for a really bad team that couldn't bring him home.
This is a good, tricky question.
That's true.
It's tricky in more ways than one.
Is it another Brewer?
It's a Christian Yelich.
No.
Oh, I like the thought though.
You're very close in naming Christian Yelich. I'll give you that.
So far, Tom's guesses have been
Walker.
IKF and Christian Yelich. That's something.
Christian
Okay.
Walker.
No.
Okay, for Joe. Outscoring a run.
Close in the name.
Christian.
In calling out Christian Yelich as his guess, he was it's extremely close.
It's never been done before.
Correct.
Bang!
And the reason it's never been done before is every player who has had an 8 RBI game has hit a home run in Christian Yelich.
So technically, I was right. The last player to do it is Christian Yelich, but yeah.
Right.
But you did.
I wasn't sure how to answer that.
But you did guess it correctly, though.
Done it before
Because you okay. Tom
still gets the point.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Wow. Damn, Khore.
Question. All right, that adds a new dimension.
Khore came back.
I came back with a strike of vengeance.
Were you making up for an April Fool's Day episode that you were supposed to be on or something?
That was cruel.
To be honest,
that was something.
Pretty.
I thought it was a great question, Khore.
Great question. All right, so Tom up to second place, but Khore, you have one more for us here, focused around another player of the National League.
This one's a little less mean. Since May 31st, Max Muncy has achieved 2 games with over 7 RBI, 3 games with over 6 RBI, 3 games with multiple home runs, 2 games with multiple 3-run home runs, and 2 grand slams. Who is the only other player to accomplish this in MLB history over an entire season?
A-Rod.
No.
Bonds.
Judge.
No and no.
Griffey.
Nope.
All right.
McGuire.
Everybody.
Nope.
Sosa.
No.
Pujols.
No.
Ruth.
No.
Damn. Was that strike 3 for me?
That's strike 3 for you, Joe.
I got 2.
Joe, what was your second guess? I was trying to write him down.
I think someone said Bonds.
I said Bonds, Ruth. Did I say anybody else? It might be only strike 2.
No, I had you down for a third K here. You did. There was a second guess. I was just trying to figure out who you said.
I don't
because I think I'm not sure if you said it already.
McGuire.
So
McGuire.
Oh, McGuire. That was it. Yeah. Hank Aaron.
No.
Okay. So Joe, you're K'd out. Khoury, me, and Tom all have a K to play with.
So
And I terribly
he's
don't mind the
a-
result. None of us play here, so don't mind that at all.
I'll give you 2 hints. He's in the Hall of Fame, and the year that he did this, he won the MVP.
I wouldn't have
He's
changed
a 3-time MVP
it.
winner.
There's a what?
3-time MVP.
Man,
winner.
Mike
He did
Schmidt.
this. No.
Okay, I'm okay.
no one either of them.
Would you
I
say
only
Tom?
heard Mike Schmidt.
I said Mantle.
No.
Ooh.
Tom's out.
Oh, Corey.
Khoury, it's down to you.
Otherwise, it goes to the house.
He's also recently been in the news for a stat that Juan Soto actually passed him on recently.
Oh.
What doesn't help
Oh.
Corey? He hasn't watched the game or
I know. Oh, what did Soto pass? Oh.
Oh yeah. I think I know who it is now.
No.
I think I know who it is
Who would
now.
it
He passed him for multi-home run games in a career.
I remember seeing the tweet. I just don't remember who it was. But I remember the tweet when they had like a little chart or something. It's I don't know. I'm going with McCovey. I don't know who it is.
Jimmy Fox.
Oh,
Jimmy
not
Fox.
Jimmy
Double
Fox. Wow. I mean, I tell you what, the fact that Muncy has done all this in a month's time is insane. And to think that Max Muncy was cooked too. I mean, this has been an incredible month for
Guy's
the
eyes
Dodgers
fixed.
third baseman. What was that?
Guy's eyes fixed.
Is that what he did?
No, it's literally what he did.
Yeah.
He got
Did
glasses.
he get the
Literally a
LASIK?
thing.
Ah, all right. Well, there you go. So
Start
Max
wearing glasses, you
Muncy,
can see the ball.
and only Ted Williams with
Easier to
that
hit when
feed,
you can see.
which is wild. Khore just disappeared. I didn't mean to do that. There he is.
There we go.
But that's it. So a point for Tom, and that's it. So Tom's up to second place. So yep. I mean, this was a big win for Tom, who was in dead last, and now he's all the way back up to second place here in a very close contest here for ESB games. Khore, we do appreciate you coming through. I know you're a busy man nowadays, busy dad nowadays. So we look forward to talking to you. And hopefully by the next time we talk to you, the Mets are in a lot better standing than where they are right now.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, not through
we
this
can
week.
only hope.
Khore,
Oh,
thanks
man.
again for your time, man. Good to have you back.
Yeah, thank you,
Thanks a
Khore.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you, Khore.
Take care, man. And that is my guy, Andrew Khoury. Give him a follow at Khore_ on X and at _Khore on Instagram if you're keeping score at home. But that's it for Empire State of Baseball. We're ending this thing a little bit early at 9:10 here. We got through a lot of the big segments quick enough, so we're gonna get out of here a little bit early today. There won't be an extra innings episode. We decided we're just gonna take advantage of the holiday week early, so there won't be an extra innings following tonight's episode of ESB. But folks, listen, it's awesome when you can move a show and the audience just follows you along for the ride. You got 240 people that showed up for today's episode of Empire State of Baseball between X, Instagram, and YouTube. So really do appreciate you guys coming through. It was the return of the cores today, both Khore Kurriculum and Khoury Favs back in the fold for ESB. So I'm glad to see that as well. And what you do there, Joe? Did you just do something with the with the comments, or was that me? That's kind of
No,
cool.
we see the comments on screen. I'm just seeing how it looks.
Oh, show comments on stage. That's what we're doing.
I'm just curious how it looks.
Okay, I got it now. We're gonna play with some new features here over at StreamYard. Very good, very good. All righty, folks.
Seeing how that goes.
Let's send it around the room for last licks and call it a show. Khoury Favs, start with you, the newest married man in the building. We'll go to you, throw to Joe, then Tom, and I'll wrap this thing up. Go ahead, Khoury.
Yeah, just obviously want to thank my wife for went on a honeymoon because we got married. So thank you, Caitlin. Have a great time. And thank you, Rich, Tom, and Joe. It was everyone, you're at my wedding. It was a great time. Glad to have you all there.
Fantastic time. Great time. Joe?
No, thank you, Khoury, for coming back. Give me some reprieve with Tom and Rich over here. Hope you enjoyed your honeymoon. I had a great time at the wedding.
Fantastic time.
And welcome back, Khoury. Glad to have you back so we don't have to hear Joe talk as much. I always appreciate that.
Yeah, that was brutal. It's amazing though, too, with just Joe. Like we were like an hour 25 last week, and with Khoury Favs back, we somehow managed to squeeze within an hour 15. Don't know how that happened. That was some crazy stuff. By the way, folks, we got to announce this. We are not going to be back next week for the 4th of July holiday. We're taking the week off. We all deserve it. So Khoury Favs, you're already back on vacation after just coming back. But we'll see you guys in 2 weeks' time on July 14th. That is Home Run Derby Monday, 8 p.m. And we got a really special segment for you guys for that Monday episode. We'll let you guys know about what that episode is on social media over the next few days. All righty, folks. We'll see you in a couple weeks' time. Have a very happy 4th of July. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Take care.